Huh?
Then it's coming 3.
3?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, are you going to say what you were supposed to say?
Yep.
What are you saying?
I said 4. I said 5.
What's going on, guys? This is Morse Mode coming at you with another episode of It's a Guy Thing, and I got a very special guest today. Your name is? Jasper. And this is my son, and today we're going to be talking about a variety of things, mainly Resident Evil. I actually wanted to put out a review of the Resident Evil 3 remake last week, but we're not even going to get into that discussion right now because it was insane and there was a lot of problems with it. So we're going to redo it today. We're going to tell you a little bit about my thoughts on it. We're going to go through the Resident Evil series and talk about how well we like them and like what rank they kind of fall into. We're only going to really stick with like the numbered entries, but we might throw an exception in there. You got anything you want to add on that? You ready to get talking about today's pick 6? Yeah?
Okay, my daddy's one of my home. Daddy.
Yeah.
It's number 6 from a nail.
We're going to get to Resident Evil 6 in a minute, buddy.
No, it's number 6.
6.
No, I want number 6.
You want number 6?
No, like that.
Okay, well look, this is YouTube, man. You can't be throwing up your number gang signs.
Okay.
All right?
All right. Daddy, you gotta go.
They don't care about that. All right, well, today's pick 6 I'm really excited about because I've really been wanting to get it on the show for a long time now.
Now, my daddy's a nice son.
You want to tell them about this? What is it?
It's seven.
Today we're bringing to you Skullflaw Brewing's Basement Pog. And I've really been wanting to get this on for a while. And I finally got it. I really want to push the Skullflaw Brewing on this. And as we drink into this a little bit, I want to discuss my
Daddy, my daddy's a nice son, and that's my father.
Yeah, that's me. I want to get into I want to get into why, like, the very first time that I've had Skullflaw Brewing, and you're gonna understand why I've talked about this beer for a while now, and why I'm really excited that I have it on the show today.
Buster's, I be gonna say that. Damn, it's a short.
You need to watch your cussing, buddy. All right. We're going to get into opening up this pog. I am going to be drinking and reviewing the Skullflaw Brewing Basement Pog IPA. And what are you drinking over there?
Gone.
Huh?
Gone.
It's not gone.
It's just water. It's just.
What kind of juice is that you got over there?
Marmalade.
Watermelon. Okay, I got you. Do you typically like watermelon flavored juices?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Don't squeeze it.
You don't squish it. That's right. What happens when you squish it?
Drink it.
You drink it. But what happens when you squish it?
Corner.
You gotta get your finger out your mouth. Can't be nervous, bud.
Now. Next. Let's run now.
Man, this stuff smells strong.
That's daddy juice.
Yeah, it's daddy juice.
That's got bubbles in it.
Yep, got some bubbles in it. I was not able to drink out of my mug today because it's dirty. So I picked, well, I didn't pick. Jasper picked my glass. What glass do I have today?
Spider-Man.
That's right. He picked it out for me. Scofflaw Brewing, man. Yeah, they're out of they're based out of Georgia. I don't exactly know where at in Georgia.
J-A.
Atlanta. Hell yeah. And man, this is 7.5% alcohol. Now they do have another one. They have a Pog. I can't remember if it's Pog X2 or just Pog X, but that one's like 10.5 or something crazy like that.
D. That's what I saw now one way.
I definitely don't want none of that. But yeah. So, oh man, we're gonna talk about some Resident Evil right now. Okay. I probably should have put this in a little bit better order, but this is the remake to Resident Evil 3, and so I've already went through it. I've already beat it, and
that's Evil 3.
yeah, we'll get Well, this is the original 3. This is the original 3. We'll get on that in a minute, but right now we're going to talk about this 3. Okay.
We got 2 3s.
Yeah, we do, but we got to let we're bringing that out later. Don't spoil the surprises, okay? You want to hold this one?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you hold it and just make sure that the people can still see it, okay?
And this Evil 3 is called pow pow like that.
Yeah, yep. We did a lot of pow-powing. It was, for the most part, I think we beat it in like 3 days. And it brought back some memories, but not a whole lot, because it's been literally so long since I've played the original 3. I gotta say, if you played the Resident Evil 2 remake, you're gonna feel right at home on this one. It's
Wanna hold it?
yeah, I'll hold it. You don't want to hold it anymore? I liked it. I enjoyed it a lot. There's some low moments in there. There's still some pretty good action in it. Not action like 4 or 5, but it's definitely like the whole survival horror thing.
Now the tablet is charging me right there.
And yeah, it took us 3 days to get through it. We're definitely going to be playing it again, and probably trying to unlock some of the trophies that we did not get first go round. From the moment that you step into it, I mean, especially if you played Resident Evil 2, you're going to feel right at home, and
Evil 2 was wonderful.
it's fun. I mean, I had a blast with it. The controls were tight. At the beginning of the game, I had some issues like with the aiming, because I was kind of like going everywhere. It's not like trying to aim the crosshairs on Call of Duty or anything like. So I personally struggled with it in the beginning, but you knocked your juice over, bro. You unplug the charger. You want me to fix it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you charge him?
I'm working on it. Oh, sorry.
Okay. It's just fine.
It's fine.
Hey, look what's stuck in me.
Alright. I forgot Mike fell back here too.
This?
Mike?
That's mine.
Yeah, this is Mike. Damn, you lost me.
Okay. First.
So yeah, as I was saying, I struggled right there at the beginning. The more I played, the more I got acclimated to it, and was able to really plow through some areas. There were some instances where like I still just died, but that was just me not being very good. And but I really like it, and I really want to see Capcom come out with some more remakes, even though I'm hearing rumors of 4. I don't know if I'm quite ready for 4 yet. I think 4 still looks, pretty good, and I think it'll hold up for another couple of years. I can think of something else I would like to see remade before number 4, and I'm going to get into that a little bit later. But as far as my official review on Resident Evil 3, I'm going to give it an 8. Great story. I had a lot of fun with it. I love the horror genre. I love survival horror. And I can't really say too many bad things about it. I mean, yeah, the game is short, but all Resident Evils are short. It does have a Resident Evil Resistance. It's basically a whole nother full game. And it's kind of like the 4 versus 1 type thing. You've seen it with Evolve, Dead by Daylight, Friday the 13th game. I didn't really get to play a whole lot of it at all, really, because I don't have PlayStation Plus. But I did go through the tutorials. Seems like it would be fun. Maybe next time the PlayStation Plus goes on sale, I'll pick me up a year, play it a little bit more, especially if the game does well. Yeah, man, I'm going to give Resident Evil 3, a solid 8, man, because I'm definitely going to see myself playing it as he gets older and he wants to play a little bit of survival horror type games. The original 3 is probably going to not cut it for him just because of how it looks. But definitely a number 8 for this. So I can't really think of anything bad to say about it. And I'm trying. I mean, other than the initial aiming, I cannot think of anything really bad to say about it. Can you? You've already lost interest in this?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, alrighty then. Probably. So did most of our viewers, probably. So, moving on from that, I would like to talk a little bit about Resident Evil as a whole, and I would really like to rank all of their games in like worst to best, in my opinion. And I don't physically have all of them. Interestingly enough, though, I do have all of them in some shape or form, whether it be physical or digital. The ones that I have physically, I have here with me. And I will flip it up like this. The ones that I do not have, we will probably definitely, in fact, we need to, I demand it. We'll put it, he's going to be watching this and say, you don't demand shit from me. We're going to put it right here. We might put it up here. We might put it up here. Wherever he chooses to put it is where it's going to be put. I do kind of like it right here, though. Yeah, right here. I ought to challenge him, what I should do. Since I'm actually filming this, and I'm just going to be like, bam! And where I put my hand, have him put it right there, bam! Put it right there, bam! So we'll see. We'll see how we do this. But yeah, so, all right, we're going to move on to my rankings of the Resident Evil games. From what I believe is the best. Well, no, I'm going to start with the worst. From what I believe is the worst, and move on to the best. And I'm going to try, especially based on my memory. It's been a while since I played a lot of these games. So I'm going to tell it as far as like the best that I can remember. Irk. All right. Since I don't have these in any particular order over here, I am going to start with the one that I really, really hate the most. And that's going to be Resident Evil 6. We might actually still need to pop. We should just do them on all of them. But we definitely, even though I have it physical, need to pop Resident Evil 6 up right here, because when I originally tried to do this episode and it was a fail, liquid got spilt all over it, and it smells like watermelon. So I can only think of one person who could have spilt something watermelon all over Resident Evil 6. So yeah, Resident Evil 6 is a horrible, sloppy mess. Like everything about it sucks. There's nothing scary. It's almost like they tried to make it like Devil May Cry, but not as cool as Devil May Cry. It's very actiony. Like, I still can't tell you what the hell the story was about. The characters sucked. It's a horrible mess. Yeah, buddy. We're drinking. Cheers. Tink. Yeah, this is a mess. An absolute horrible, total mess. And I'm actually not, I mean, I am, but I'm not too mad at the fact that
We see you, Daddy.
the case got messed up. I'm talking about Resident Evil 6 right now.
That was
I never played the multiplayer. I did play a little bit of it co-op, but no, this game is absolute horrible and absolute trash. Okay. Moving on to number 10, or no, I didn't even number them. So I'm going based on my notes, but I've made changes to the notes. So ignore that whole number 10 thing. Let's just go next in line. And I don't have it physical, but I do have it digital. And that's going to be Resident Evil 4. I know I'm going to get a lot of hate on that. I know Resident Evil 4 is like very near and dear to people's hearts. Not mine. Like, I had fun with it when it first came out on the GameCube. I even had bought all of the GameCube games leading up to it. And because they was releasing them all, and they were ridiculously overpriced. And they did nothing to them. But I still bought them, played them all, got Resident Evil 4. Had a lot of fun with it. But yeah, just didn't like it. I do not like the what do they call it? What do they call it? Is it QTE? Quick time events?
J-A.
I think they're QTEs. I think they're QTEs. Yeah, that's where, like, you're in the middle of kind of like a cutscene, but you have to, like, a button will come up on the screen, and you have to pop that button at, like, this precise moment, or else you'll fail. I don't like QTEs. Never have, never will. And story-wise, it kind of, like, drew me away, because it wasn't even zombies anymore. It was, like, the, what do they call it? The Lagos? Pago Lagos? Something like that. Pago Lagos. Good one. Nice. Now, graphically, like, it still looks good, like, especially on, like, the HD thing where they released it on. We're filming a show here, bruh. You make it really hard to film this show. I thought you were going to participate with me, but you're not.
Daddy.
And I don't know. I definitely need. I need to play it again, and I will. We're going to talk about that in a moment. So yeah, Resident Evil 10. It's down. Or Resident Evil 4 is down on my list. Moving up, I got to put Resident Evil 5. Resident Evil 5 brought us more into the action realm.
Daddy?
Yes.
Cheese.
Cheese.
No. Thumbs out.
Thumbs out.
No. One out.
1. I'm burning minutes, bruh. Take the picture. Resident Evil 5 brought us more into the action realm. That it was cool with Resident Evil 5.
Okay.
It was.
Let's do talent first.
It's. You know what? I didn't think about this, bruh. But maybe we should be filming this with your tablet as opposed to my phone.
Daddy.
It brought us into the action that ultimately gave us the horrible 6.
Okay.
But
Daddy, cheese.
What I really enjoyed about Resident Evil 5 was the co-op aspect of it. Had a lot of fun playing co-op with it, and
Daddy, take your picture.
Yeah, you can take my picture, buddy, but let me keep talking to my people.
No.
I
like that. It's your turn.
We're gonna come up to the original Resident Evil 3. And this is why I ranked this one so far down on the list. And
Now.
I didn't really get to enjoy this game when it first came out. And I think I had a glitched game because Nemesis chased me all the way through it. And
Daddy, cheese.
jeez, Nemesis chased me all the way through this game. I could not stop. I'm sitting there running through town trying to solve these puzzles. My wife would be like, "You're passing an herb."
It's Tyler's turn.
Jasper.
It's Tyler's turn.
You gotta let me do this, okay?
No.
I never got a chance to breathe in Resident Evil 3. I would be running, Nemesis just chasing me. I couldn't stop for anything. My wife would be like, "You're passing the herb and some ammo right there." I'm like, "Can't stop, gotta keep running." I would go into a safe room, deposit some stuff in the item box, grab my save at the typewriter, walk out, stores. He's right there.
Let's now. Let's move.
And it was not enjoyable for me at the time. And back then, we really only had Resident Evil 2, and Resident Evil 3. And I remember back then, I was like, man, that game is garbage. But I'm going to play through this again, and we're gonna get up to it. So you got Resident Evil 3. So far, it's Resident Evil 6, Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 5, Resident Evil 3, and now Resident Evil. The original Resident Evil 1. And dude, this is way too many bloopers.
No, let's see.
Oh, this whole thing is a disaster. Oh man. So yeah, the original Resident Evil. I actually came to the party a little bit late on that one because I didn't play Resident Evil when it first came out. I played Resident Evil 2 when it first came out, and I was like, man, I really like this game. Let me go back and play the first one.
I see my hair.
Jasper, please let me do this show. I have to get this filmed.
No, I know.
Yeah, I thought you were supposed to be on here with me, and now you got me picking my nose and shit.
24, 5, and 2.
So I went back and played the first Resident Evil, and yeah, I really should have played it like first. That really should have been my first. That should have been my first introduction.
26 pounds.
But it wasn't. And it was. This was.
Cheese.
Cheese.
Okay,
tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to burn through these because this is becoming a lot more difficult than like I had imagined. Okay, after that we got the original Resident Evil 2, which took me like, bam, blew my mind way back in the day. I see him, buddy. Then moving on, we got Resident Evil 7. Resident Evil 7 was amazing. Like, yeah, it was a huge change, but it was scary. It was atmospheric. They changed it to the first-person view. The only thing that I really hated in that game was that there was only 4 enemies, like in the whole game. Like, there wasn't a lot. It was that's the only thing I didn't like about it. Moving up from Resident Evil 7, we're getting high up there now. I want to talk about Code Veronica. Code Veronica was amazing. I never got to play like the Veronica X, which I do have it downloaded on my PS4 now with the little updated thing. And oh man, just a disaster. I should have put do not disturb mode on my phone. I loved Resident Evil Code Veronica. Like, it was pretty chilling, scared me from what I remember back in the day, and it was a lot longer than Resident Evil, Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3. And for a while there, it was my favorite game. Moving up from that is Resident Evil 0.
Daddy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you need to let me, unless you're going to talk to the people, you're going to have to let me do this. You're going to talk to the people?
No.
You don't want to talk to the people about Resident Evil?
Two.
You hear me spitting? You hear me spitting? I be spitting. You're going to talk to the people about Resident Evil.
No, I know.
We're
I know.
running short on time. Resident Evil 0, which was a prequel to the first one, obviously. 0. Resident Evil 0.
11 A.
And we actually just played through that recently because once we beat Resident Evil 3, we're like, you know what? Hey man, let's run through all the Resident Evil games in like chronological order. And so that's what we're doing. We started with 0. Now we've actually moved on to the first remake that came out on the GameCube. But Resident Evil 0 started like really good. I've noticed playing it through, even though it was a little longer than what I remember it being, like they don't really hook you up with a whole lot of healing items. I walked around in caution like 85% of the game. But yeah, it was still fun, very, very exciting. Moving on from that, we're going to put the Resident Evil 3 remake, the new one that just came out. And I've already told you my thoughts on that. And up from that, we're going to do the Resident Evil 2 remake. And I've told you my thoughts on that. I thought the Resident Evil 2 remake, I know I've neglected this. But yeah, the Resident Evil 2 remake, I really loved it. And I do like it more than the Resident Evil 3 remake. And I think it's probably just because my personal connection with the original 2. But like at the beginning of the game, when you first see the zombie coming through and she looks at, because it's a female zombie, and she like turns and looks at you and she's I was like, oh. Now Resident Evil 2 remake is definitely more terrifying than Resident Evil 3, and it's good. I cannot wait to play through it again. To be honest with you, my all-time favorite Resident Evil game is the first remake, the one that's on they first came out with on GameCube, and I'm actually playing through that right now, and because we just finished 0. So once we get finished with this one, we're going to move on to the original 2, play the remake 2 again, then play the original 3, then play the remake 3, then 4, 5. No, after the 3, we're going to play Code Veronica, and then 4, 5, and 6, and then 7. Oh, and I'm gonna try to fit the Revelations games in there. Not putting them on the list. I need to go back and talk about my original Resident Evil though. The original Resident Evil remake really was super cool, super cool. Jill Valentine is pretty hot in that game too. Watching her hips sway. That's just me being a pervert. Still pretty hot in the remake, but not as hot as she was, the 3 remake, but not as hot as she was in the Resident Evil 1 remake. But it's pretty scary, like the way that the lighting shines on it, and even for an older game, like I feel like it holds up well, and it's very atmospheric. Very atmospheric. That's a whole lot of words, bruh.
Yeah, there's words.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the list. The list is Resident Evil 6, Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 5, Resident Evil 3, Resident Evil, Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil 0, 3 remake, 2 remake, and remake. Damn, did I forget something? I feel like I forgot one. Well,
they're so cool. So cool.
It doesn't help that these pogs are 7.5, which I now want to talk about. Okay. Yeah, I definitely want to talk about these pogs right now.
Daddy, no one.
What are you trying to do?
No one.
I want this guy right here because he's crying, and you're making me cry. Do you want to talk about your juice? I'm about to talk about my juice. Do you want to talk about your juice?
Yep.
Tell him what you're drinking.
I drink of this.
You got to show it to him though. You got to turn it around.
This is the juice marmalade.
Mama didn't make that. Mama bought it. Actually, I think I bought it. So moving on to my pog, my daddy juice. What? How high would you rate that juice? On a scale of 1 to 10.
Marmalade, 1, 2, 3, 4.
You're only gonna give it a 4?
Yeah, it is 4.
It's a 4. The Kool-Aid Jammers watermelon is only a 4.
Put it in the trash.
You can put it in the trash. I prefer you to put it in the trash.
This, that's bad. This is a star.
Yeah, this pog right here is something crazy. I'm
Okay, that's
only like 2.5 in, and I can kind of feel the 7.5.
That's very good.
But Scofflaw, man, they really know what they're doing. They know what they are doing when it comes to brewing some of these brews.
Hey,
and I would like to.
Its shape.
Yeah.
What's its shape?
You don't show it to me though. You show the people.
No, what's its shape?
What?
What's your shape?
It's a star, dude.
It's a star.
Yeah.
But pick one.
I'm gonna pick the heart because you're breaking my heart. I will have to say, like, I know I've mentioned this on the show numerous times. Stone Brewing out of San Diego, California is my favorite Jasper. I'm serious. Let me finish this, and then we're gonna play our shapes.
Now.
I'm going to say, as far as like my local brewery, Scofflaw's winning that battle. They are winning that battle. This pog, the first time I picked it up, the first time I picked it up, I drank it and I was like, holy shit, this is good. I was like, man, like, I want to say I found it like last summer and I started drinking it and oh man, it was just so delicious. I want to bring some of their other flavors on the show, most definitely. Around here, it's pretty like scarce. But this whole passion fruit, orange, guave thing that they got going on with this pog is unreal. And to be high alcohol content, man, it's dangerous because you don't really taste it, but you will feel it.
I got your name.
Especially, you did.
W also starts wagon. Does it spell wagon? Huh?
Go ahead and spell wagon.
W. Now, and nails. Daddy, it's nails.
You say it.
I know.
Your underwear is on backwards, dude.
I'll say. No, it's not backwards.
Yeah, it is backwards. That right there. Hey, dude, don't do that on the camera.
What?
I mean, we'll fix it. Dude.
Where's mine?
I want to. I'm trying to give my review of Scofflaw Pog, man.
Okay.
You want to help me? You know what I'm going to give it?
No, I know. I'm not gonna try it.
I'm going to give it a 9. And
I know. I'm sorry.
a 9. A 9 is where Scofflaw Pog
Big one?
comes
A
from.
small one.
Get the big one.
No. I want to pick.
Oh,
Big one.
I don't know. How do I pick, dude? How do I pick? You got to here. Okay, I'm gonna type in.
That's a short one.
It's a guy thing. Yo, can you say that?
Yo?
You got to say it's a guy thing, yo.
I got yo.
Yeah, there you go. You tried. Scofflaw Brewing 9. Scofflaw Brewing Pog 9. I'm gonna definitely bring more Scofflaw in here. I want you guys to check them out. Hands down, the juiciest beer I can find. Like, I mean, this is a very smooth and juicy beer. If there's anything that has got to say keeps it from getting that coveted 10, it's it hits you hard, and you really don't need a whole lot. And funny thing about these pogs, like just a 6-pack is going to cost you like $13, and it's just regular size cans. But you can get the 12-pack of the tall boys for like $16. So that's like $3 more, and you're getting ripped that night.
ER for it.
Yeah. Yep.
ER.
ER. Man, this has been a really hard show to do. Oh man, it's thick. It's juicy. It makes me want to go outside.
ER.
But yeah, Pog by Scofflaw, the basement 9. So what we're gonna do now, and I've been thinking long and hard about it, and the video that I did originally that I ended up messing up and we did not get to do it, I picked the Babe of the Week, and I wanted to, like, when I found out that everything got messed up with it, I was like, well, maybe I could rethink it. Because I actually went into a dialogue in the recording that we'll never see, about how the thing was just too hard to do. But I think I'm going to stick with exactly what I said, and I'm going to stick with what I said originally, and that was my Babe of the Week is going to be Jill Valentine, because she's pretty much been hot in every game that I've seen her in, and she was hot in the movies. I can't remember the lady that played her in the movies. I want to say it was like Sienna something. Cheese. But we're going to stick with the original Resident Evil remake look for Jill Valentine being the hottest. Now, having said that, there's a lot of hot Resident Evil babes. And what I would like to do is do a ranking system of the hottest Resident Evil babes. And what originally I thought about it, I was like, well, you know what? Let me write this thing out and I'll give it to you guys on the show. I'm glad I didn't do that because I just ranking the games, I didn't know it was going to be so hard with, little man deciding that he didn't want to do the show with me anymore and he wanted to do his own thing. So what I want to do, and I gave it some thought, what I want to do is, I know what my picks are. I would like to see if there's anybody in the comments. You guys give me your guys' list and let me bank off that. And I want to try to see if I can't come up with a list based on the community. I think that would be pretty cool. If that does not happen, I'm going to still compile my list and we will still discuss this later on. Since this whole thing has been Resident Evil based, we do want to mention that the original voice actor to Leon Kennedy in Resident Evil 2 passed away. I wish I had written that crap down because I don't know his name, but we're going to definitely RIP him. So yeah, there goes It's a Guy Things Resident Evil episode, I guess. I wanted to talk a little bit about the Upchurch country album that got released this morning, which I listened to, but I don't think I have enough time to do that, and I would definitely want to give it a little bit more listens before I really start talking about it, because right now it's just all bias, and I just want to say, oh yeah, man, it's the best album ever, and it probably still is, but I definitely want to wait until I listen to it a little bit more. I got it, my biggest judge on music is when I'm in my zone, and that's outside, got the grill going, got my speaker going, and I'm just there drinking my beers, grilling, listening to music. That's where I'm really gonna fine tune with it. But so far so good, man. I like what I hear, and we'll definitely probably talk about that on the next episode. So like always, I'm always gonna be a week behind. But so yeah, man, that's gonna do it for this episode of It's a Guy Thing in Quarantine. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys will definitely go out and check Resident Evil 3 remake out. Hope you guys will definitely hit up Scofflaw Brewing and pick up one of their beers. Did you lock the door again? Okay. Definitely check out Scofflaw Brewing. Anything else you want to say about that Kool-Aid watermelon?
Yep.
What do you want to tell them?
Yeah.
Was it good?
It is. They're chesty. Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, that's going to do it for us today, guys.
Yep.
Y'all,
Wait, Daddy.
that's right, man. You going to tell them? You going to tell them? You going to tell them see you later?
Later.
And say bye?
Bye.
It's a guy thing, yo.
Bye.